The Democratic Republic of Congo sued Apple in France and Belgium Monday. It accused the firm of being complicit in the conflict minerals trade. Congo in Central Africa is a major source of tin, tantalum, and tungsten, the so-called 3T minerals used in computers and mobile phones.
JEJE Vibe. Can you feel the vibe? You know it's JEJE Vibe. Can you feel the vibe?
I'm feeling it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JEJE Vibe. You know I got the queen with me.
You always say that.
Today we're going to be talking about Apple versus the Congo.
To the Democratic Republic of Congo, it has accused Apple, the tech giant Apple, of using conflict minerals. What's that? What is a conflict mineral? These are natural resources extracted in regions plagued by armed conflict. The most common are the 3TG minerals, tungsten, tin, and tantalum. They're commonly used to make phones. But some of the mines are run by armed groups. They kill civilians, they rape women, and they use forced labor. Now, DRC's lawyers argue that Apple uses minerals pillaged from DR Congo. These then enter the international supply chains. So DRC says the company is complicit in those crimes. Apple, of course, has denied all these allegations.
The Republic of Congo has filed a criminal petition against Apple.
Off of exploitation.
Of the minerals used in creating Apple products.
The four conflict minerals, tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold, are used widely in consumer electronics. In a smartphone, for example, tin is used to solder metal components together, while tantalum, which is extracted from the metallic ore coltan, is used in capacitors, which store electrical energy. Tungsten is used in the components that make a phone vibrate, and gold is used in circuit board connectors. Tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold. All of these minerals are found in our electronics and in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which contains an estimated $24 trillion in untapped mineral resources. Yet the DRC remains one of the poorest and most dangerous countries in the world, and mining these four metals can help fund armed conflict in the region.
The mining potential of this country is just beyond imaginable, and yet you have poverty at the highest level.
With the passage of the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010, U.S. companies are required to disclose their use of conflict minerals. This has led to greater awareness and some important reforms. But today, consumers still can't be sure if the minerals in their electronics are fully conflict-free, or if the mines where they originate are dangerous, environmentally destructive, or use child labor.
You can't actually ascertain whether my phone, the capacitor that is powering it, is not from conflict mineral. The whole process is muddled.
That's largely because in the DRC and surrounding countries, hundreds of thousands work in the informal mining sector, toiling away using hand tools in what's known as artisanal and small-scale mines. This type of mining can be hazardous and very difficult to regulate, but it's also one of the few sources of income available to some of the world's poorest men and women.
A whole lot of violence and crazy event has been happening in Congo. All for these so-called minerals.
Some independent mines are run by armed groups. The UN says they've been involved in massacres of civilians, mass rapes, and other crimes. Lawyers for the state of Congo argue Apple uses minerals pillaged from Congo and laundered through international supply chains, which renders Apple complicit in crimes.
Hey, it's not just Apple now.
The largest companies in the world, including Apple, Microsoft, Intel, and Tesla, put out extensive conflict mineral reports every year, usually stating that there is no reason to believe that the minerals that they source help to support armed groups. But corruption and instability at mine sites means that there are never any guarantees. Apple, Intel, and Tesla did not reply to requests for comment, while a Microsoft spokesperson stated, Microsoft remains committed to responsible and ethical sourcing and takes this issue very seriously.
Hey, most of this electric cars too.
It is a very dangerous job, both from a security side, from a financial stability side, from a health and safety side.
Such conditions also apply to other minerals found in the DRC like cobalt, which is surging in demand due to its importance in EV batteries. The majority of the world's cobalt is mined in the relatively safer southern DRC and is not benefiting armed groups. Yet concerns over working conditions and the use of child labor in artisanal cobalt mines remain.
With cobalt and the DRC, if you are a large-scale buyer for the battery supply chain, it is challenging to not buy DRC material because the DRC represents about 3/4 of annual supply globally.
A lot of Chinese companies do exploit the locals. Even kids
Facts.
mine for food.
Facts.
But this isn't the first such allegation. For years, rights groups have claimed that the global supply chain for these minerals is anything but clean. The true cost of these minerals goes beyond financial profits. It's measured in lives lost, future stolen, and environments destroyed. Forced child labor and unsafe working conditions are widespread in the DRC's mines. Many are controlled by the country's armed groups. Meanwhile, unregulated mining practices have left scars on the region's lush landscapes.
Crazy.
Hey, we've seen someone ask Elon Musk before, I guess one of his stand-up demo on Cybertruck before it came out, and they asked about the raw materials, and he said, who sent webcams there?
Crazy.
And I heard a question raised about cobalt mining, and you know what? We will do a third-party audit. So in fact, we'll put a webcam on the mine. And if anybody sees any children, please let us know.
These minerals that power our devices.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the green energy, green world, and whatever we're talking about, but still we don't care about the exploitation of human beings in these places.
It's not just exploitations from raw materials now. Even, the complete product.
Crazy.
You buy, the same software of Apple product that has been the same for the past 5 years in shape and design and weight.
No innovation.
But the price is now a bit more steeper.
Like you're still making the same thing. No innovation, and you're charging an arm and a leg for a phone. Like it's supposed to be, by now we're supposed to be having an iPhone for at least $50.
Fact!
Like what are we doing? Like what's so exciting about using the iPhone? The camera? We're in 2024 and this is the innovation that you guys are
slapping the 3 cameras behind phones. Really?
Is this the innovation you're pandering to the public? Oh, we're creating. You're creating the same ideas. There's no innovation in the phones that you've created. Apple.
But look at what they did to the Vision Pro. I'm sure all the raw materials that you exploited from the country that you mined them from, only for you to come out with this shitty product that the consumers don't even want it.
They don't even want to be part of it.
What a waste of money.
Waste. There's rumblings now that Tim Cook, the head of Apple, is thinking about, is it considering stepping down?
And then they say maybe in the next 2 years or 3 years.
There has been an increase in speculation as to not only when Tim Cook might be, leaving Apple and pursuing other opportunities or retiring most likely, but also who could be taking his place. I think it was, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, all major publications have sort of floated this idea to Tim Cook. And then once again, over the last couple of days, Wired Magazine had an interview with Tim Cook. They talked about a bunch of different things. And one of the subjects was, what are your sort of exit plans and your exit strategy? And Tim Cook sort of admits, I love Apple, love my job. I've been in Apple for decades, but I'm not going to be here forever. And sort of when the time comes, I will step down. And there is some speculation that could be happening sooner than later. Maybe not 2025, maybe. But I think 2026, 2027, I think in the next couple of years, we will see Tim sort of take a step back.
I'm sure Tim is busy cooking another bogus device.
Tim hasn't cooked anything. Like, we're expecting you to live up to your name. Tim, cook. But you're not cooking anything. You're just still creating the same ideas of Steve Jobs.
Off of Steve Jobs.
What have you cooked? The iPad still looks the same. The Mac, you just have so many products with no innovation. Basic.
Instead, they decided to want to start selling your data for profit.
Like, now you're moving into, you're not transacting with OpenAI, Microsoft. Like, what are we doing? Like, our data is no more safe. But before we go into data, this video is about Congo. And also Rwanda was mentioned in this lawsuit.
Yup.
Large quantities of conflict minerals are transported from the DRC to Rwanda. They are then laundered into the international supply chains. However, Rwanda has denied any involvement. The Rwandan government has dismissed the Congolese government's legal action. It has called it a media stunt. The issue has been raised before in international forums, and in response to mounting pressure, several initiatives were taken, like the Dodd-Frank Act in the US and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development guidelines. They aim to ensure the responsible sourcing of minerals. Companies like Apple claim to follow these standards rigorously, but critics argue that such measures are often reactive and insufficient. Independent audits and certifications can be difficult to enforce in these regions, especially as conflict makes transparency nearly impossible. And so the question remains, will the DRC's fight for justice spark real change? By taking legal action against global corporations, the country is sending a clear message. Its resources are not just for the world to exploit. The future of fair and ethical supply chains rests on what happens next.
This is a criminal petition. They're not suing for civil. Like, this is a criminal. And because this is an ongoing situation right now. The extent these people are being exploited for the materials that they need to create these phones. People are losing families. People are working in harsh conditions. All for your AI.
The shitty software these days
that you're making that has no innovation in it. So what you guys think about this lawsuits? Congo against Apple. Drop a comment, let us know if you're new to the channel. Don't worry, you're in the right place. It's JEJE Vibe.
JEJE.
Hit that like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye now.
You know it's JEJE Vibe.
It's JEJE Vibe.
And you feel the vibe. It's JEJE Vibe.
It's JEJE Vibe.
You know it's JEJE Vibe.
JEJE.
JEJE Vibe. CD Vibe. 50 Vibe.